Meeting come to order. We'll have the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the Upper Chichester Township Board of Commissioners Caucus meeting, September 1st, 2022. George, can you do roll call, please?
And Commissioner Baaco,
Here.
Commissioner Godioso,
Here.
Commissioner Burkowski,
Here.
Lisa Catania, Mike Pierce. Commissioner Joe Neary is
Here.
with us virtually. Myself, George Neary.
Thank you. We'll open up citizens' comments to the residents who are not able to attend the meeting in person. So they can make a comment during this time by dialing 571-748-4021. That number again is 571-748-4021 and entering 936-319-550 #. The number again to enter is 936-319-550 #. Is your code to unmute your phone, dial *6. After unmuting your phone, state your name and address and begin your comment. You'll be given 2 minutes to speak and be placed back on the mute after your comment. Have the phones open for a few minutes. Okay, take note, there was no public call-ins tonight. We'll go to the audience here tonight at a caucus meeting. So any comments for public comment tonight? Yes, good. We'll move along to our professionals report. We'll have the engineers report. Lisa Katan, senior engineer.
Thank you, Mr. President. You do have a copy of my report. We're hoping, the Wawa project, sent an email to Joe Bada and his team, and we're hoping that we'll have, an update. I have to stick it in my mouth. Okay. We're hoping that we have an update for the punch list. It's been outstanding for quite a while. Joe promised that within the next 2 weeks, we should see some movement. The auto zone, we did finally get the ADA ramps supplement from AutoZone, so we should be seeing some action there. I also sent an email to Brad Majette of Right Land Development because, again, we're waiting on punch list items and haven't seen any movement on those punch list items. Commissioner Neary is not here today, but I want to sit down with him to determine where we're going with the issue in the rear of Creekside Village, Costa Homes project, so we can get that moving as well. 4800 Chichester Avenue, which is the Alliance Warehouse project. We are waiting on information from that group. And at this point, PennDOT has sent another review. So that project is moving along slowly but surely. The 3303 Market Street, I think the board is aware that there's some issues, conflict issues with traffic movements between the Royal Farms left turns and the newly located driveway that was on the last Alliance plan. We're trying to work through that and we'll see where we stand with the next submission. Dunkin' Donuts, I have received word, they're doing submittals currently. They wanted to make a change on the plan at the contractor's request. So we're working on that to determine if that's a change that we can accept. The Care Plastics just poured their floor in their building, so that project is moving along, but slowly, probably because of supplies. You're not able to get the materials to do the work as quickly as we're used to. The community development block grants, we've got the work completed for the 2019. So we'll have that project close out. There is a final quantities change order that we need to take care of, and we'll move forward to complete that project. The 22 project, which is there's actually two of them. One is the Johnson Avenue Streetscape, and the other is Linwood Heights signage. The Streetscape project, going to be setting up a meeting with the township planner so that we can coordinate that particular work. The signage project is similar to that we've done in Excelsior Village and Twin Oaks. So we will have that ready shortly. Green Lake Go, I haven't heard anything from the Green Lake Go grant at this point. We did put the application in for the ARLE grant. They are supposed to have information as far as grant awards in October. So we're a couple months out before we hear of that. And Al Federico and I are working on Traffic Signals Technologies grant that will coordinate the signals along Chichester Avenue. We do have the pre-scoping form completed. That grant is due the 30th of September. Our road program, we haven't received an invoice number 2. That is substantially complete. There's 5 items on the punch list that need to be addressed. They have not yet been addressed. I believe everything else, unless someone has specific questions, is in order, and I'll take any questions that you have.
Does anybody have any questions for the engineer? Lisa?
Lisa, I'm sorry.
No, go
Which
ahead.
Joe? Me? Okay.
Yes.
Lisa, sometime next week we could meet at your convenience. I'll email you with some availability tonight. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
The Duncan one. They went through the process of planning and all that. How can they come when you're ready to build from the contractor to try to change something that was approved by us and the planning board and everything?
It's just material changes. For
Uh,
example, the inlet that was a prefabbed inlet, because of the issues that they're having, they'd like to do it as a doghouse. So they would dig under the pipe, put a slab underneath the pipe, and then build the inlet around the pipe, cut a hole in the pipe. We're not so sure that that's a perfect solution so we're looking at the hydraulics of that before we give them an approval. Things like that. It's nothing substantial or
Right.
they would have to come back to it.
The road, has anybody heard anything about Rockhurst Avenue, the sewer authorities get? I'm hearing the hole's getting bigger.
Sewer Authority did check it out. There is an opening in one of the joints and they are taking care of that. I don't know what the schedule
Well,
is, but I'll have that schedule.
Tell them it's getting a little bigger. Again,
They think it possibly is because of the water main break that was not that far away from it. So,
Okay.
but they are going to take care.
thank you. Anything else to be brought to the engineer? If not, we're moving along to our solicitor's report, Mr. Pierce.
Thank you, Mr. President. You do have a copy of my written report in the file. Of significance, we're still waiting for the decision from Judge Angelos relating to County Health Department. There were several issues that were raised regarding duplicate inspections, and those have been addressed by the attorney that is handling it on behalf of the township. I've been copied on all those matters. I'm pleased to report, especially Commissioner Biacco, that we finally agreed on all the language for Somerset. They are circulating those documents to get signed by all the homeowners. So we should be ready to move on forward with that soon. So
Thank you.
everything is, I've been staying on it and we finally got all the indemnification language and everything that we needed for the township's perspective. And that was put in there. Just see what else. We have the public hearing next Thursday at 7:00 for the liquor license transfer for the Caterers Roosevelt Club, I guess is the formal name of that particular item. That'll be at 7:00. It has been advertised. We put it in the newspaper. So if there's anybody that has any public comment related to that, I did reach out to the attorney today to look for what they were looking for as far as a resolution that they would like the board to consider the passage. They're generally pretty standard, but most of the times the applicant does those resolutions and I review them and make sure that everything is there. We've had several tax assessment appeals that are coming up. It's the season for that. Keep the board posted as needed, and I believe that everything else is in order.
Anything to be brought to the attention of the solicitor? If not, we're moving along to the manager's report.
Good evening, everybody. First item up is the presented 2 months ago is the Millennium Strategies grant writing proposal. This is a company that provides grant writing services. The contract proposal will be for a retainer of $3,300 a month. And then if we choose to use them for closeout purposes, the grants would be $130 an hour. As we spoke of before, if we have them apply for one grant per month and the amount of money that they bring in is, we would need to really net about $40,000 a year in grant funding for this to break even at the end of the year. So I think it's worth to take a look at this and start this process with them. It gives us another tool towards getting grants, towards getting some of these projects done throughout the community. The second item is the proposal from HRG for the stormwater implementation plan. I don't know if this was circulated last month for everyone to take a look at. There is a relatively hefty upfront cost for this, but when you look at the long-term ramifications, it's really less than any one stormwater project that we typically do. I would estimate that the all-in cost over the course of the year and a half of this would be about $200,000. That would include the, which probably is the hardest part, which is mapping of all of the impervious and pervious surfaces. And that's done through a process of flyover, where they fly a low-level plane and take pictures of everything, and so that you have a excuse me, so that when you go to set up the authority and potentially enact the fee, you have a very concrete, recent way to communicate that that fee is done in a manner that makes sense.
George, is that the whole township they do or just certain areas?
Whole
They
township,
do the whole entire township, residential, commercial.
residential, commercials, so they map everything out. This includes, so this proposal includes three things. It includes the carte blanche working you through the whole process of forming an authority and or amending an authority to be if we're going to amend the stormwater authority. So that whole process, all of the research, public meetings, public outreach, setting the fee, as well as organizing the first 5 years of potential capital improvements for the authority to manage. So that includes, like, setting up and evaluating what staffing structures may need, what cost structures look like, all components of it. The next item is the CSERT Safety Emergency Management Plan proposal. The Emergency Management Committee has requested that we look at this proposal from CSERT for $8,000 for the consultant to come in and develop our emergency management plan. The emergency management plan is due for an update. This is something that we probably should look at doing even more often than just the amount of time that we're doing. So I would recommend that the board approve that. We have a hearing at 6:30 PM next week for a zoning map amendment that has been advertised. This is for various properties throughout the township, including the Kingsman Park property, which is currently zoned industrial, changing that to a more favorable C1 zoning. The PML conference is coming up in October, and the Commissioner Whitaker will be attending, representing Upper Chichester Township. Is anybody else interested in attending or able to attend? Okay, so what I would say is that we should just we need to appoint a delegate. Typically, we appoint a delegate and an alternate. If someone else goes, we can just appoint a delegate. So my recommendation would be Nicole, since she's the only one attending the conference.
That's the one in Pittsburgh, right?
Yep. You have in your binders the annual township minimum municipal obligation for our pension plans. The good news is they came in just in line with what we expected, with what we did with the bond. So this is going to generate a short-term cost savings, as well as the continued long-term cost savings that we're seeing from that action. I've been asked by multiple departments to get rid of some equipment for sale that they have. We have a 2007 Lee Boy roller, which is having engine problems, and there's a request from the Public Works Department to sell that. We have a variety of Mytel phones from the previous Mytel phone system that we had here in the township that we'd like to dispose of. And then the police department, the 1987 GMC tack truck. So what they would like to do is to sell the tack truck and eventually purchase a Ford Transit van. So a couple things. The tack truck is a 1987, and what's been happening is when we go to get it out, it doesn't run. So there's extra costs involved with bringing the mechanic in on the weekends to try to get that up and running. Also with the fact that we're trying to respond and can't get the tack truck out. So they're looking for a more modern vehicle, something less intimidating in look and size, something that they may be able to take out to more specific events when incidents and things happen, because it's a little bit more mobile than the tack truck. So those are what we'd like to sell. So underneath that was just the notion they'd like to purchase the Ford Transit van. I'm not bringing this up as a matter of needing to be approved or decided right now because the availability of vehicles has been very difficult. So at this point, we have not been able to locate one that we'd be able to give you a proposal and say, this is, what we'd like to purchase. At worst case scenario, it'll be in the capital plan for next year for the police department, proposed in the capital plan. At best case, one would come available within the next couple months. So they're going to be timing the selling of the tack truck with more of the availability of a transit van on the market.
Is that with the addition of usually the 2 or 3 police vehicles we purchase every year?
It would be, yeah. And the proceeds that would be looking to utilize for this is from the drug seizure account.
Yeah, that was my next question.
So over the past 2 years, we've had two substantial monetary drug seizures that we've satisfied all requirements with the county and are now sitting in that fund. So there's more than enough money in that fund to be able to purchase the truck, the van. You have a draft of the newsletter with you. We're trying to get that buttoned up and out. So please take a look at that. Give us any comments that you have. We've been given 3 real estate tax refunds from our tax collector from properties that have been reassessed through appeals hearings. I guess my question to Mike Pierce, I have a question to Mike Pierce on this. So, one of these properties is a property that we currently have a significant amount of property maintenance violations against and things like that. So is there anything in the law that could preclude us from doing this? I don't think there is. It's money owed to them. Yeah. So no, this is one with that we have citations opened up with right now, and we've been trying to work with them. It's the Dollar General property is one of them that has been a nuisance property. The other one is that Andrew Court in Mike's ward, which from time to time becomes an issue. So both of them saw it and were given relief from their appraised value or their assessed value. Neither of those properties are it's a couple thousand for each of them. I mean, neither of those properties are assessed. So neither of those properties are maintained to where they should be maintained. So my guess is part of the reason that they were able to get favorable assessments, where when you look at the properties, they look dilapidated. Wishful thinking. Next item, we have a escrow release request from Willowbrook. This was the final account that they had put up through the clubhouse project. This was for fees for solicitor and engineer costs. There's a decent amount of money left in there that they'd like to get back. And then the sewer authority force main project. So I've been forwarded some requests from the sewer authority requesting that we request a meeting with Lower Chichester. I guess I'm looking for some direction from the board here. This is a sewer authority project that takes place in multiple municipalities, including Upper Chichester and Lower Chichester. My gut reaction to the email was that if the sewer authority would like to have a meeting, that we could obviously send, if it's not a public meeting, we could send 2 commissioners, myself and anybody else that that they would like.
Well, the president of Lower Chichester reached out wants us to reach out to request a meeting with 2 of our commissioners, and I requested the chairman of the sewer authority. They may bring another person in with it, just of the knowledge of what's going on down there. Can we do that? Do we need a motion on it for just to send a letter for anything like, I would just recommend we send a letter requesting. I know it's after Labor Day. I think it has to be after September 14th or 15th is when the chairman of the sewer authority will be back. And since he's the one that knows a little more than we do about it and the reason and why it's been, I want everybody there just to get it done. If I can't be there with Joe, I think Nicole says she could be there with Joe and just get this ironed out and move forward.
So in the letter, am I requesting a meeting with Lower Chichester, or am I confirming that they have requested a request from Upper Chichester for a meeting? I guess again, things are public documents, right?
Right.
So in the wording of this, again, it's not our project, right? So I don't want to derail their project in our wording on a simple letter. You know what I mean?
I mean, if I may speak,
No, go
I
ahead.
don't see why we need to send a letter down to the Chichester. It's a sewer board authority project. If they want to meet, that's great. Have them, I mean, if they can set up a time and date, and Commissioner Bacco and Commissioner Rakowski can definitely meet with them, but I mean, me personally, I don't see why we have to send a letter to meet with them when they're asking us to
Us.
meet with them.
Right.
It's just a little compliment.
I mean, the thing I'm afraid of is how long is this project going to be delayed?
It ain't gonna
It's
delay
not
the
going to be
project.
delayed,
shouldn't.
but at the same time, right now Delcor has been paying some of the issues down at with the overflows.
The longer
Just-
it takes to do that project, the more money it could cost the sewer.
Just-
Because
right.
they have violations down there, and this will help do away with some of them violations.
Can we just, oh, hey, we send a letter accepting whenever you want to have a meeting, we'll meet.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we could have met 5 times by now, all the back and forth about the letter.
yes, I agree.
And I believe that is all I have for tonight.
Does anybody have anything for the manager? If not, we'll move along. Madam Vice President Nicole Whitaker is out on a conference. You have anything, George, or just her reports that are on file here?
We've received the library report. The rest of the reports will be on file for next week. Just as a reminder, because it'll be coming up quick after the meetings next month. Community Day and fireworks are Sunday, October 16th.
Thank you. That said, we'll move to Commissioner Joe Neary.
Thank you. Thank you. None of the reports are available this week because it's first of the month, but they will all be available next week. And I look forward to meeting with Lisa about, further evolution of the Creekside debacle. Thanks. That's all I have.
Yeah. Thank you. Anything to be brought to the attention of Commissioner Neary? If not, we'll move along to Commissioner Michael Gaudioso.
Thank you. 900 Township Line Road. They will be submitting an extension to the Board of Commissioners next week, September 8th. 2032, 2034 Locust Street revision subdivision. That application is under review. 659 Conchester Highway Land Development Project. This is the McDonald's. Applicant has submitted a zoning hearing board application with various variances and will be in front of the zoning hearing board on 9/6/2022. 3033 Market Street, another subdivision land development plan. This is Alliance. They will be also submitting an extension to the Board of Commissioners for the September 8th, 2022 meeting, which is next week again. 801 Bethel Road Land Development. Waiting update plans based on reviews and comments from the Upper Chichester Planning Commission meeting. And 650 Cherry Tree Road Subdivision Land Development Plan. We are awaiting updated plans for that one as well. And as indicated for zoning, McDonald's will be going before the board, the zoning board, for variances that are listed in our agenda tonight.
Does the board need me to appear? I mean, they don't appear to be anything of any controversy.
Me personally, I don't see why we should,
We'll let the zoning hearing
Resist
board
it.
handle it, and then that's fine. I just wanted to make sure major oppositions to issues related to the
just other two quick, items. They're not on my agenda, but I still like to bring them up. We send a letter out to the Gardendale area. I just like to I like to review the information that was sent to us with our professionals and to have a path forward. So I can reach out back to the residents, and have a town hall meeting, hopefully with them within the near future. And also just to let everybody know, Bill Gavin took his BCO and passed. I think there's a little waiting period before, that he will get his, certificate, indicating that he has passed. I don't have anything else. If anybody has any questions for me, I'll be more than happy to answer.
I would just like to let Commissioner Godioso know, he brought it up at numerous previous meetings. The Kate's Glen sign is no longer in existence.
Oh, bummer. Who owns that land?
Much
The state?
appreciated, Mr. Neal.
And that? Oh, they were probably happy to take that down.
Anything else I can complain about so you get fast?
They said it was brought up at numerous meetings.
Just Jim. Thank you.
Anything else brought to the attention of Commissioner Godio? So if not, we'll move along to Commissioner Joe Baiocco.
Thank you. Excuse me. Highway and sanitation, we're gonna start negotiations with the union on September 8th. I don't anticipate nothing crazy. They usually work with us pretty well. We have the shredding event coming up on October 1st. I'll read from our little flyer. The Upper Chichester Township Shredding Event will take place on October 1st, 2022, between 9 a.m. and noon. Bring all papers and documents that need to be shredded to the municipal complex located at 8500 Fury Road. And also, the Household Hazardous Waste Event will take place October 15th, 2022. This event is by appointment only. Call Delaware County Solid Waste to register at 610-892-9627. Household waste items include, but are not limited to, gas, oil, automotive products, cleaners, household fire extinguishers, pool chemicals or any other chemicals, pesticide, paint solvents, aerosol cans. But like we said, you have to register for that event because that's countywide, right, George? Okay. And I'll bring that up again next week, just as another reminder. Street lighting traffic signals, me and Mr. Neary have been talking with a lady from over on Cherry Tree Knoll. My light's been out for over a year and we sent PUD out and double checked it. It's not our light, but they're requesting maybe if we could send a letter over to the association there, asking that they could please fix it for safety reasons. Anybody on the board have an issue with it?
Is it in the development or closer to Cherry
It's
Tree
in the
Road?
development.
It's like a light in the parking lot. Just so you know, I actually worked on this issue back in 2018 and got it resolved with them. And now it's circled back again, and I've been working again with them in trying to get to the management company. I mean, the issue is that the line it's not like a standard line. It's like a aluminum wire that goes back. Basically, I believe it goes into someone's home, I think is how it works. It's like we can send a letter. I don't know who we send the letter to because the HOA is not responsive to the residents. So my thought was it would go under maybe the property maintenance code. But if it's under the property maintenance code, do we send the violation to each individual property owner in the HOA because they're all collective, the members? Do we send it to just the board members? So there's no we could send it to the members of the HOA. So do that. Okay,
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
If-
And sewer, water and utilities, George discussed what's going on with the sewer authority, so unless there's any questions, that's all I have.
Anything to be brought to the attention of Commissioner Biaco? Now we'll move to my report. The ambulance service medic unit, they do, I know we worked on this towards the end of last year and the start of this year for the budget. They now implemented 7 full-time personnel with the, pool of all the part-timers. They've been doing it for 8, 9 years with strictly part-timers. They have 7 full-timers are working on some benefits for them in September. So, this seems to be working out pretty well. Just like to get a little better grip on the county and other services because we still are out of town way too much. I mean, not that I'm okay with mutual aid, but with the hospitals backing out of a lot of it, we're not in upper chai as much as we should be.
You seen the deal for Crozier went away,
Yes.
where they backed out.
So, but I do give him a kudos. We will be meeting. I saw that email with, Marco, try to get them together. The other part of my committees or their budgets are pretty well squared away. The emergency management part, I do still recommend with, even with the emergency manager, the consultant they want to do for the plan with that, contract. Half of it will be covered under this year's budget still, and the other half with a minor increase of the budget to cover it next year would be about $4,000 to finish the plan for 2023. On that one, also on that note, this is the time of the year, it's September. I know our guys at the highway department gets ready, the fire department gets ready, but this is September is actually National Preparedness Month. And I had George, there's a webpage for Delco Alert and everything, from the emergency management that they could go on the webpage, and if they haven't been signed up for Delco Alert to get any, announcements on their phones, they could sign up now. So they wanted to bring that to the attention. Other reports should be in next week. And other than that, that would do it. Like I said, I do recommend us getting that plan for the emergency management. It's been a while since we had a plan redone. And, one other note, we were just talking about it tonight before the meeting was, George and I and, Ray Fuller. We attended a webinar for the fire department, PA Institute, PSATC, regarding the issue of the volunteer firemen throughout Pennsylvania. I think there's 2 more courses coming up in October. A lot of what ifs and no really good answers on how much it's going to cost the taxpayers in the long run. Everybody knows it. Kudos to us up here and Mr. Neer and the fire department on the incentive programs. There's other fire companies are starting to do the incentive program also for the volunteers, and knowing that there's only maybe 30,000 volunteers left in the whole state of Pennsylvania. So nobody wants that word, regionalization. They talk about it. Nobody wants to do it. There's a lot of what ifs of who would run the fire department. But there's a lot of what ifs, but I didn't hear anything of any solutions still. It's going to be a slow process. Eventually it's going to happen here in Upper Chi, I believe. That's my opinion. Whether it's just daytime, and that's what they even said. Is it daytime fire only? Is it drivers only? Nobody has that answer yet, but they do know it's coming, and I guess everybody's just getting prepared for it, and it's going to take a while. So, but other than that, we'll try 2 other seminars and see what comes out of it, and take it from there and see what the state says in October in Pittsburgh. But if anybody else has anything for me, they could bring it to my attention. I have no problem. If not, we'll get ready to leave. You good? Before we leave, I just want to remind everybody, school is in session now. Be careful and have a great Labor Day weekend. So I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Nobody wants to go. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good night.